All right, we are live. I thought that I'll try that timer countdown and try something new. So I may do a little bit longer, 60 seconds. 30 seconds seems to be a little bit short while I get prepared. All right, so welcome everybody. This is my name is Paul Kim, and I'm going to be doing some live coaching as it pertains to online marketing. Specifically, today we're going to be talking about the fifth pillar or the fifth item in my blueprint. For those that have not downloaded my blueprint, go to freeleadsblueprint.com and you can download my blueprint. That is our blueprint that we utilize to generate free organic leads online. And it basically lays it out. Just FYI, I have not updated it to this current. We've changed some things around, so you still have the first version up online. But if you do opt in, we will send you the updated one as soon as we have it updated, hopefully in this month in March. All right, so today I want to talk about the fifth item in our pillar, as we call it, the blueprint. And so that is automations and systems, right? Um, Now, when it comes to automations and systems, you, it can be automations via technology, or it can be automations and systems by process or team or delegation through other people, right? And so I like to try to use technology as much as I can when automations are involved. But you can do it manually by delegating those specific tasks, right? So most of the things that I do in my business, I always like to try to be whether when there's tasks or things that we are doing repetitively. I like to try to create a process, or we call it SOP internally, so standard operating procedure, and so we document every single thing that we do. Now we haven't been diligent in doing it until probably the last probably 2 3 years, and so this year is probably our first, maybe this past year has been the first time we really sat down and really documenting everything that we do in our business so that way we could systemize and automate as much as we can. And so it does take time. It's not a one shot done deal. It is a constantly evolving process that you should implement in your business if you want to um, basically generate more leads. Now, when I talk about leads, there are, when in terms of growing your business, there are five things that you can do to double or even 16x or 32x or your business. And these five things are increasing your leads, your increasing your conversion, increasing your average cart value, right? Or average in terms of just basically increasing your prices. And then the fourth one is uh, increasing your purchasing frequency, right? And then the last one is systems and process, right? And so we're going to talk about the fifth one today, right? So automations and systems. And when I talk about that, I want to talk about five. I seem to be five seems to be the magic number today. So we're going to be talking about five items: emails, funnels, website, content, and ads. Now, I'm not a big component of paid ads, but we're going to talk about it today, just in general. So why automations? Because at the end of the day, if you are a one person shop, or for that matter, if you're in business, in order for you to grow, you have to delegate, right? So basically, um, do less, but you can do more by doing less. And so that is by using systems, using automations, using tools, the building out a team, right? So one of the fundamental or the simplest thing that you can do when it comes to email marketing, right, um, is creating. I'm going to talk about certain things that we do in our business. There are a multitude of things that you can be doing, but one of the, maybe I'll talk about two things. One thing is when it comes to email marketing is creating a let's just say if somebody opts into your email, right? Whether you're an agent or whether you're a coach, to create a sequence of emails that you can send out over a period of a year, right? And so, um, and it takes time and effort. You got to sit down, or you got to either hire somebody to do it and create those email sequence. Um, and so, when you have those email sequences, it's just a matter of pulling the trigger in automations where if somebody opts into your um, to opt into one of your funnels or opt into your freemium, or somebody lands on or calls you and you get their name and email, you put them into a sequence where you can send them um, continuous nurture email sequence. Okay. And so that's a very simple thing to do. Well, I won't say simple. Okay. It is something that you can implement, right? But you actually have to do it and sit down and think about it, and really write emails that is going to serve them, give them value, rather than just not constantly selling them, but you have to provide value. Okay. Another example is in the world of email, and I'm going to kind of mix that up with a little bit of um, funnels, I guess, not funnels, but text messaging as well. So we work with, and including myself, we when we run webinars or when we do events, um, you want to collect people's text, basically cell phone numbers, or a way to text them. So you can automate a sequence where you can create a sequence of emails and text message where they will receive. Because nowadays, because of well, COVID's over and people are probably tired of going online and going to webinars. You have to constantly, I won't say constantly, but you have to remind people to come to your event, and send out those reminders. And text message is one of those ways that you can remind, and it has a very high open rate when it comes to text message. Okay, and so, but you just want to make sure you comply with text message regulations and guidelines. All right. Now, the second thing we're talking about is funnels. Now, funnels as it pertains to your business. Now, some people may say, even those that have websites, you may be thinking, what is a funnel? Funnel is basically a landing page without any distraction, right? A funnel page or landing page, right? Basically, when you go to a website, you have all these like menus, and they're basically distractions. So if somebody were to come on to a website and they come to your page and they see all these various menus, and maybe they see a link to your Instagram, they see a link to your Facebook page, and YouTube, and so they will deviate to and get distracted. So whereas a landing page and a funnel is they just land on one page with a sole call to action. With you want them to take one action, that is it. So either take that action or get out of that page. And so when you build out a funnel, you want to create it with automations in mind, where there are sequences of um, pages that the client or customers or potential lead goes through, as well as email sequences that follow when they take certain actions. And these are things that could be automated, and takes the load off of you, because um, so let's say, for example, we have a coach that is doing a monthly event, right? So you have automations, and so the only thing that she has to do is to show up to that event, and all of the back end stuff is done automatically and set up sequence wise. Emails go out, text messages go out. Each of the registrants go through pages, certain pages, and they are given directions accordingly. And so those are automations that can be set up if you take the time to set it up. And so it is I would say, a lengthy process, but really to think about it and to process where what's going to happen when a registrant clicks on this, or when a a lead clicks on this, or when a lead opts in, what kind of information you want to send them, how do you want to deliver the content to them. All of those things are automations that you should set so that it can take the load off of you. Can you imagine if, every time somebody opts in and you have to send them a PDF or ebook manually every single time, right? That would be time consuming, right? Or you can have it delegated to somebody, but if there are ways to automate it, you can do that. Um, so the third item that we're going to talk about is automations you can do on the website. Now, um, websites and content repurposing kind of comes in, especially what we do in our business, which is SEO, right? So when it comes to website, I think um, more so, I think in this um, i- this particular junction, I want to talk about when it comes to local businesses, right? Um, More particularly when it comes to SEO local ranking. I know it doesn't really pertain to website, but it it kind of goes hand in hand, right? One of the most important when it comes to local ranking, especially when it comes to Google, because that's what we do, is getting reviews, right? So how can you create automations or create a set it and forget it method where a request for a review is done? Now, a lot of times, people or businesses or small businesses or professionals don't execute or don't get reviews because at the end of the day, they don't have it built into their process, or they're afraid to get asked for reviews, or they're just, it's like, should I ask for a review? But if you have it and have it set up in a fashion where it's automated, where it is, so let's say, for example, after during your closing, right, you have it in your process to ask for review at the closing. It's just a fact that you have to remind yourself, right? So what does that mean? Maybe possibly having a QR code available at the closing so that your clients can scan that QR code, and then it takes you to the review. Takes them to a Google review, and so that they could put, put up a review, right? Um, the other is, if they don't do it at that time, then you can set up an automation where after the closing, they'll get an email, maybe 2 days later or a day later, asking for a review, and then a follow up if they still haven't done it, a follow up text message or email that will go to them maybe 7 days later as a reminder, right? So that it can all be executed and implemented so that it's kind of like set it and forget it. Okay. Um, with regard to content repurposing, so what we do in our business, or whenever I look at things, I look at things where we can um, help your business SEO wise so that it generates free leads, but also at the same time, we create evergreen content, right? So when we think about content repurposing, how can we create content that we can repurpose with evergreen purpose? What does evergreen mean? Evergreen pretty much means that a content that could survive, that could last for the next 5 years. So when we talk with our clients, or when we create content, we always try to think about is, can we create content that is evergreen? And so when we have that post on our website, how can what we do is we put that into a platform that we can continuously push out on a maybe a quarterly basis. It's the same content, but it's a different social media, right? We create anywhere from two or more social media posts that's directing them to that content, and so we have that going on continuously. Okay, and so that's one way of thinking about content repurposing. So in that sense, like, social media is constantly ever changing, and it's constantly changing. So is Google as well. And so we're always trying to think of new ways, right? Now, vertical video is very popular, and so we're trying to think about ways how can we create vertical content, short form, specifically short form content, right? And so that's another thing that we have to look into, and think about. I don't. The way I think about it is I don't want to go on that hamster wheel where we are constantly thinking about what to post online. I like uh, the I guess I wouldn't say lazy man, I guess. But anyway, lastly, I want to talk about paid ads. So I'm not a big component of paid ads, but it is a viable solution for many businesses out there because if you can if you can put $100 in to generate 200, $300 back in revenue, then it's totally worth it, right? But I would say most businesses, and if a lot of the marketing agencies, they're not. I wouldn't say like, if somebody came to me and said, hey, can you do, can you do ads for us? And I would say honestly, I'm not. That is not my expertise. So I would honestly say, hey, I would try it out, but I probably would delegate that out to or probably outsource that out to one of our associates or somebody that we know. So paid ad is another way where you can create, automations and systems because at the end of the day, you are delegating the marketing to, ads. Okay, so and ads is a great way. So I know, for example, Google Business Profile right now with local service ad is a great way right now for local businesses to generate leads because for the amount of money that you spend, you're going to get great leads, and not just great leads, but great warm leads that people will call you and do business with you. All right. All right. So hopefully, now with regard to utilizing this Millen app, so I kind of wrap it up with this live coaching session. One thing I am not too familiar with is using Millen app to write chat messages. So right now, I don't have any messages that are popping up, so I'm assuming there's no messages. So if you do have any comments, write in I guess, the comments, and hopefully I'll get it here. If not, there is in the content and the description, or if you look below, there is a form to fill out. If you have any questions, click on that link, and it'll take you to a form where you can submit your questions, and I will answer them in my next live coaching Q&A session next Thursday. So every Thursday, I go live on YouTube as well as other social media, and then on Tuesday and Wednesdays, I go live on Instagram. So you can follow me and go. If you have any questions, you can go on Instagram and ask those questions over there as well. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye now.